Remember when I used to upload almost daily? What's up guys? As you can tell, today's video is a little different. I'm not really known for my Blender skills, but I think I kind of built something kind of awesome. Over the weekend, I found myself with some free time and decided to model something that has got to be part of cartoon history, and my favorite weapon slash tool in fiction, the Omnitrix. I was always interested in the lore and how it looked and operated, so seeing that I've been getting better at 3D modeling, I thought, why not give it a go? I initially began with the watch's dial. The main important thing I wanted to get right about this version of the watch. The faceplate of the watch throughout the show has changed many times, from the rounded torus to the more smooth edge design we see in the later series. I made sure to keep all the bits and bobs that I could, keeping the faceplate the same roundness that it was in the show. I also wanted to keep the watch in activated slash extended mode, which honestly is probably the coolest way to keep the watch on display, showing off the cool green lines that are on the core cylinder, and of course would allow me to animate it later down the road. I also made sure to have enough space in the watch to allow it to retract and be in standby mode, but I think I'm going to modify it so it's kind of like a joint section later on, making the core slightly pull in and slide down. But that honestly really isn't necessary right now because it's a prop, it's a display model after all. Now that I kind of relook at the build as I see it going on, I kind of realized something. In hindsight, I should have gotten a cylinder mesh and used a bouillon tool to cut pieces into it, instead of making individual planes and joining the meshes together. But hey, what can I do now? After that was all said and done, I started to work on the watch's body. Now, this admittedly was the hardest part for me. See, I'm not the greatest when it comes to proportions or shapes. When it comes to watches and bands, wrists are actually really janky for me to make. After 30 minutes or so and flattening out a cylinder, I managed to get something that felt like a proper shape, but wasn't exactly what I wanted, but somehow managed to work. After that, all that was left to add was a few more pieces and touches to finish it off, adding the second layer to the body, then the main activator button that's pressed to pop up the Omnitrix core. I then smoothed out the edges of the watch to make it more streamlined, and finally added in the cooler lines slash pipes that are present on the watch's body. Of course, I couldn't just leave it at that. I quickly made a makeshift display room slash case for the watch to be placed in, fixed the lighting, materials, and finally emissions on the watch to make it look good. Now before I show the rendered images for the watch, I want to thank my awesome patrons who are supporting the channel and this video. If you want to see what I'm up to with models, make sure to follow me on Twitter for updates. I'm currently working on modeling every Omnitrix I can and possibly 3D printing or laser cutting some, which actually reminds me, I already have a finished model of the Alien Force Omnitrix. I'll be posting the Blender projects for both the original and Alien Force Omnitrix, along with a blank FBX and OBJ export so you can customize it with your own colors on my Patreon at mid-tier. I'll also be posting it on another host site soon in case you're not a big fan of Patreon. Anyways, here are the rendered images. I hope you enjoyed the video. I had a fun time making it, and I'll see you guys next time.